What's up, y'all? Protextor here, host of Rappers Playing Games, one half of Baby Lion Studios, and NeverEnding Story super fan. If you're the kind of person who has been searching YouTube for NeverEnding Story content, it's possible that you saw my contribution to the NeverEnding Story challenge on Twitter a few months back. If not, here's a little look at that. Anyway, the point is, I love this movie, I love this book, and I have so long searched for a video game adaptation of it, which does exist for Atari and Spectrum 128K as a text adventure that I own on a cassette tape, but I've never been able to play it. And I was incredibly surprised and thrilled when I got onto Etsy the other day and saw this, a NeverEnding Story NES cart. At first I'm thinking, is this just a piece of collectible retro fan art? No, it's from someone who makes custom games. So immediately I bought it, expecting a port for NES of the text adventure from Atari and Spectrum. What I got instead is a custom-made game that is a shoot-'em-up where you ride Falcor through the lands of the NeverEnding Story that was fan-made a few years ago. So, I'm going to play some of this game so you can get a look at it because it is a custom fan-made game. You're not going to be able to find much other footage of it. And if you're a fan of retro games, if you're a fan of NES, Genesis, SNES, PS1, Dreamcast, and you want some content, please check out this channel, subscribe and like the video, and go check out Rappers Playing Games. Alright, so as soon as you pop this in, turn it on, we're greeted with this beautiful 8-bit title screen with the Orin rendered in the background. Letting it play through and not hitting start goes into this story mode where we're basically being caught up on what's happened in like the first 20 minutes of the movie The NeverEnding Story. The Nothing is taken over, the Empress is sick, Atreyu is chosen as the hero, and he is given the Orin to protect him. One thing that's really interesting here is that as soon as these story screens are finished, as soon as we get the lowdown on the exposition here, we're going to be thrown right into the game itself. Here you go. And as you can see, this is a shmup-style game, shoot-'em-up. We're riding Falcor here. One thing I really love about this is the tiny little Atreyu that you can see rendered in 8-bit riding on Falcor's back. I also really like how Falcor banks to the sides. It's a nice little sub-animation there instead of just having that same sprite move laterally. I know Falcor never shot fireballs out of his mouth in the movie or the book, but I feel like enough artistic license has been taken in way greater measure in other tie-ins that it's easy to forgive this for the sake of gameplay. Now the interesting thing here is that once I hit start and cut back to the main screen again, I'm actually going to hit start this time. And this is when it just dumps us in and says, okay, Swamps of Sadness, Artax just died, you just got picked up by Falcor and saved. Here you are, flying through Fantasia out of the Swamps of Sadness. And from this point, I think the real game really begins. This cold open kind of reminded me of X-Men 2 on Genesis. So we're flying around here, getting a feel for the game, and having a chance to grab some power-ups. Those little flashing guys on the ground, anytime an enemy's flashing like that, it means that when you kill them, you're going to get a power-up out of it. Nice thing is the power-ups get stacked. Here we are at our first boss. Really like this mechanic here. You can only shoot him when he is not holding that staff. I don't think any of the bosses in this game are particularly meant to be specific characters from NeverEnding Story, but I feel like they all fit. The number of character designs and ideas in both that book and movie pretty much justify anything that's vaguely fantastical in my book. The boss fight, as you can see, is relatively easy, and I'm not sure we're supposed to be here. Is this the Ivory Tower? I don't know. But here's the cool thing. After we put the game in, we hit start once, we go through this demo stage, we end up at a first boss. We beat that boss, we get kicked back into some more story here. We're going to get some more exposition on what happened about going to see Engiwook and Urgle. I really wish that there was a cutscene or something in this to see them rendered out. Maybe we'll get it later, but essentially we're talking about getting to the Southern Oracle at this point. Now we know what the last stage of this game is going to be. But here is the interesting thing. Now we're going to go back to the start menu. But this time it's going to say start normal mode. Now, I tried this game out first and really sucked at it and died right away, and guess what? I got kicked back to that same screen, start easy mode. So this little cold open basically determines what kind of game you're going to be playing, and I really like that. Cool, so now we're in the game proper. Littered throughout this, breaking it up, are all sorts of cool little animations like the one you just saw with Falcor. I love the way they've rendered him out. And here we're going to be a little bit more into it. One thing that I really dig about this is the 2 planes of action. So as you can see, most of this is coming shmup style. They're all on my level. I'm shooting forward. I'm hitting these guys. You see these little Loch Ness Monster dudes. For this, I need to use grenades that go downward. I can't hit them if I shoot straight. They'll just go right over their head. And I felt like that's a pretty fun use of the A and B buttons to vary up what could have been a pretty straightforward shoot-'em-up game. See these little tornado fish dudes? Again, I can't hit them when they're below me, but I have to wait for them to hop out and get on my level. So not only does it have that multi-plane field of attack, but it actually varies it up from enemy to enemy. And here we are at the first real boss, or maybe second boss of the game. I love the way this thing looks. Goes down very easy. Did an easy mode, didn't feel any different for me in normal mode. And see, look how cute this is. I just love this. Like, that's a tattoo right there. Okay, I gotta do this.
Why, I'm Falcor the Luck Dragon. Having a luck dragon with you is the only way to go on a quest.
And again, you can see the power-ups making my firepower way cooler here. There are health pickups, but for the most part, I'm going to just try and not get hit like any other normal shmup. So you can essentially get hit 3 times before you need to start the level over. That being said, every time you get hit, your power-up is going to downgrade to the previous version of it. I haven't figured out what all these power-ups do, but I know they're color-coded, and I know that some give you speed, because I could feel that when I was playing. I know that some add to your field of fire and give you this wider spray, or even little buddies on the side, little mini Falcors, and some just give you new types of firepower in general. Another thing I want to point out here is these stage hazards. I love it. I love how not only am I going to have to avoid these dudes who are on my own level, but there's some like gorilla guys down there that I have to fire grenades at, and I cannot get in the way of those volcanoes. Also, something I noticed while I was playing that I had to ask myself if my mind was playing tricks on me is that the scale is changing. In the first level we played, Falcor was a lot bigger, and when we started this one, he was a lot smaller, like the camera was pulled up farther from the earth. Here's a little side-by-side comparison of what the screen looks like now versus what this same level looked like when I started playing it. Meaning that not only is the perspective changing, but it's slowly changing as you make your way through the game. This second area boss fight is also pretty rad. Again, I have no idea if this is supposed to be pulled from anything in particular. I imagine this game is a hack of a different game, and that a few of these designs are probably moved over, but for my money, this guy really reminds me of the spinning tri-head person at the beginning of the movie, and that's what I've decided it is. Also, with avoiding these obstacles, again, this boss is going down pretty easily, and this time we are rewarded with an 8-bit rock biter.
Stronger enemies are coming now. Heal your wounds and prepare for battle.
Alright, let's do it, Rockbiter. Now we're back in the swamp. I don't know if this is the Swamp of Sadness, but it is a swamp. I'm going to cut ahead a little bit here, show you one more stage hazard part that really reminded me of one of my other favorite shoot-'em-ups for the NES, Life Force. Similar to in that game, we've got this, like, I don't know, biological branching, looks like a nervous system stuff. I'm cutting right through it now because I got Falcor powered up with these 3 fire beams, but the first time I tried this, I definitely died a lot. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it, but you get 3 total continues with 3 lives each, so 9 tries to beat this game. Not bad. The difficulty is not super hard compared to other shooters. of its generation. Also, speaking of stage hazards and kind of innovative ways of doing things, watch what happens as the little bees from its hive start to move around the stage. So not only do they create webbing, but they kind of move in this almost kicks sort of fashion and create just obstacles that are incredibly frustrating. I managed to get through that little tight corner and barely out of this, but you can definitely see and hear me getting hit, and again you can see how my firepower got decreased both times. Coming up on the third boss, and this is as far as I got in the game on my first try when I was recording this. But again, I love the way this looks, and I love how unconventional the attack is. So it's basically going to rain these little dudes on us while we have to use our B button to drop grenades on its weak points while using our A button to shoot the things that are coming straight at us. Love the challenge, about to die. That's as far as I got this round. But overall, I'm loving this game, and I'm going to keep trying to get better. So thanks so much to Pack and Sack Dave, Chris Shepard, and Kamal Brown for making it. Thank you for watching it. If you dig retro gaming and you dig hip-hop, check out Rappers Playing Games on this channel. Like, subscribe. Verdict on this: if you're a fan of the NeverEnding story and NES, it's a dream come true.
Ready cack to the levee block, Betty cracking Eddie pie, messy thoughts wet and soft till I'm messing up, never not ever brought. Guess it's ready by time, Teddy not life for the general. It's inevitable that the pedestal would settle, so rest for a second while I get a shot. Let's just examine why you sitting on it, any jackass with a mic and a pretty cards like a guy with a big cigar.